Hey everybody, welcome to the RR Live Wellness Unfiltered podcast. My name is Robert Reams, the host and the producer of the show, and as always, I'm here to inform and inspire you, to educate you, and to motivate you so that you can take this information, put it to work in your lives, share it with your loved ones and your families. I've come a long way to have this opportunity to sit in front of you today. Let's go. Hey everybody, welcome to the RR Live Wellness Unfiltered podcast, first episode of 2026. I really appreciate y'all tuning in. I want to thank Trent here, Spread the Positive Studios in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and I want to thank Terry and his team at Nashville Fit Media Network. This is going to be a great year for everybody. I want to start this year off right for everybody. I want you to think about one thing for sure. From the get-go, New Year's resolutions, Think about life resolutions. Not what you're going to do for the next 2 weeks, but what you're going to do for life. How do you want the rest of your life to unfold in terms of your health, your wellness, your health optimization, your weight, your perspective, body, mind, and spirit from the inside out, like I've always talked about and always will. Now, today I'm going to talk about a subject, an endeavor, a thing that has been probably the biggest thing in wellness over the past, I'm going to say 3 years, and it's really going to start to elevate now. It's really been big in the last year. GLP1s, the shot, the skinny shot, whatever you want to call it. And this episode is entitled America's Romance with the GLP1s. America's romance with the GLP1s. It's a beautiful romance, right? Well, like any romance, takes on different ebbs, flows, levels. Does it last? Is it right for everybody? Is it the right choice? Is it the wrong choice? What I'm going to do today with this is lay this all out for you. Now, I'll tell you this from the get-go. This is not a show or an episode to bash GLP1s. It's not an episode to bash people that use GLP1s, nor the people that recommend or prescribed GLP1s. Nor is it an episode to promote its usage. I'm giving you the full perspective gamut from a professional that has been in this field for over 40 years, what I see in the field, what I see in the real world, what is out there for you to see on the internet, all of the facts, all of the figures, all of the data, all of the information, so then you can make the right critical decision for you. Whether you want to use these medications, the shots, which are now coming into pill form, and they're only going to get easier for you to take. They're going to make this, trust me, they are going to make this as easy as possible. They want you, and they know you want the path of least resistance for all this. They know that. So they're going to make this as easy as they can for you. But is it a bad thing? Is it a good thing? Is it a disaster? Or is it just one of the most amazing things? Is it magic that you can do? I'm going to lay it all out for you. Now, first off, GLP-1 usage starts with marketing. I've talked about marketing on this podcast before. I'm going to talk about it more and more all the time because it's the base level that gets you to either do or not do so much of what you do health-wise, health optimization-wise, whether you do it or whether you don't do it. So marketing is a big part of this. Now I'm going to lay out a scenario for you first. The GLP-1 shots. First of all, they've kind of marketed themselves in essence because a lot of people that have used them lose a lot of weight. It's a diabetes drug at the end of the day, and I'm going to cover that in a second. But nowadays, it's become so powerful in our psyche through the marketing, from word of mouth, from what we see on TV, from what we see in the movies in Hollywood, from what we see on Instagram from influencers, which has become so much more powerful than Hollywood, and it is going to continue to do that. What we see is all very positive. It's very magical. Wow, this person has lost so much weight. Well, did they do the shot? That's the first question people ask now. It used to be, well, what diet did you go on? Diet industry's done, have covered all that. But here's where the pharma and medical industries have taken the baton from the diet industry and run with it. Because one of the most successful things that the diet industry did is fool you through marketing. We bought it hook, line, and sinker for 70, 80 years. The actual first official diet was way back in like 1830. But it really became a thing back in the 70s. It was a thing in the 60s. It's always been a thing, a diet. If you're going to lose weight, it's got to be a diet. Where did that come from? Power of marketing. Power of marketing. Where else would it come from? Because 80 years ago, everybody knew, and nobody even thought twice about it. You eat whole, real food, get movement, like we did back then. You're going to control your weight. Obesity, and certainly diabetes, was non-existent. 1% of the public in America had diabetes in the early 1950s. Now it's over 50%. Now what's changed? A lot has changed, but at the foundation of it is marketing. Now I want to give you a scenario here. You're watching TV or you pull up your phone and there's an Instagram expert on there. Might be a doctor. Might be a really, really qualified nutritionist or, dietitian. These folks present very well. They speak well. They're eloquent. The lighting's good. The composition's good. They have a really sure feeling about what they say. They're very confident. They're very forthcoming. And they've got their little credentials underneath that screen. Doctor this, doctor that, or all of that alphabet behind their name. Now I've got alphabet behind my name too. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but what I'm saying is that's very, very convincing, regardless of what comes out of that person's mouth. You've already bought it, hook, line, and sinker, if you see the expert on camera talking positively about these GLP1s, because everything else you've heard, you're curious, you go in, you get the affirmation or the confirmation from the expert, you're like, boom, I'm sold. Where do I go? Doc, sign me up. $1,300 a month? No problem. I'll get it somehow. Or I'm going to try to get my insurance to cover it. Or I'm going to try to keep my numbers in the diabetic range, my A1C and my sugars, so that I can get this stuff for free and I can lose weight. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. This is what happens, folks. We as human beings, once again, we always search, for the most part, most of us, for the path of least resistance. What is the easiest way that I can accomplish something or get something? What is the easiest path that I can take in order to get that weight loss? In order to get that 24-inch waist? In order to get ripped, in order to look like that Instagram model, in order to look like that person in my office that just looks amazing because they went on those GLP1s and they look fantastic, or to look like that person that doesn't do shit and you're like, how do they do it? You want that. You are emotionally driven. Let me tell you something about marketing. A very, very simple marketing 101 tip and things and something that the diet industry used so brilliantly, and now pharma and medical and everybody else that's doing the GLP1 stuff, how they rope you in. People don't buy products. People don't buy services. They buy emotion. They buy feelings. What's your thing going to do for me? What is that thing or that endeavor or that class or that program or that shot or that pill or that workout or that food or that diet or that shake? What is that going to do for me emotionally? How will I feel with that? And they know that. They got you hook, line, and sinker. That's why a lot of you take it. That's some of the psychology behind the marketing. Now, that's nothing new. That's marketing 101 for anything. But boy, with pharma and medical and exercise and nutrition and wellness and weight loss, man, they know this is all emotional for you. That's why I talk about body image versus self-image and self-esteem. Everything I do on this podcast and the work I've done for over 40 years all ties together. But you have to understand something. Whether or not the GLP-1 path is right for you or not, you need to take a look at all the parameters. Because many of you out there that are on this shot now have taken only the look of the immediate result. It's just exactly as you did in the diet industry. It's the same thing. And where did that get us? Got us to a 95% failure rate in that industry. Now, that figure has been poo-pooed over the years, like, it's not 95%. Well, where is the diet industry now? This GLP-1 concept, phenom, has superseded all of it. The diet industry's done. So let's get into this. Whether it's right for you, whether it's wrong for you. First of all, I'll give you the facts. You do the shots. If you lose weight, it is predominantly muscle. 50 to 75% of the weight that you lose on the GLP-1 is muscle. And let me backtrack for a second. When I'm talking about GLP-1s, just to confirm this and so you guys know what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about Ozempic. I'm talking about Wegovy. I'm talking about Zeptide or whatever it is. I'm talking about Mounjaro. There's about 10 or 12 names for basically the same mechanism. What you lose on these meds is predominantly muscle. Now, what have you heard me say a million times for the last 30 years? Muscle dictates the rate and the efficiency of your metabolic rate. Muscle dictates metabolism. So, what do I want to do with muscle? I want to keep it. I want to build it. I want it to work for me 24/7 like it can, like it should. Because I want fat loss for people I work with. I don't want weight loss. I want fat loss. And ultimately you do too. You just don't know it because it hasn't been marketed to you like that. When you look on the scale, you're not getting your body fat loss. And when you get one of those cool little body fat meters, that's not real accurate either. That's based on a total body water. That it's something called, most of these are called bioimpedance. That's what these are drawn from. That's the mechanism. And it's not really accurate. I can have you eat Chinese food the night before and come in and your body fat would be totally different. And so would your weight. It's not accurate. However, again, this is the mechanism of the GLP-1, predominant muscle loss. Now, another thing is you only get the result from the shot when you do the shot. So what happens when you stop the shot? The mechanism stops as well. So when you go down this road, you got to stay on that shot if you want that result. Unless, something I'm going to cover later. Third thing is, when you go off the shot or when you lose this weight and then you jump off the ship or you go off the program, what do you gain back? Again, 75% of the weight that is lost is gained back. And guess what? It's gained as fat. That's right. Fat. Lose muscle, gain fat. That doesn't sound very good to me, but that's the mechanism. That's what happens. Just keep that in mind for a second. Set that aside, file it in your brain, and keep listening. Now, if I'm going to get on this shot, and I'll probably repeat this, if I'm going to plan to do this, I need to make it almost my religion to get into the gym. You have to be religious about it. You have to be consistent about it. You have to go in with the mindset, the training, the know-how, the skills, the tools, and the knowledge. How can I counteract that muscle loss? Well, I need to go to the gym. So simultaneously, not when you've been on the shot for a year, now, right now when you start it or before you start it, get your ass in the gym and lift weights. Now, I talk about path of least resistance. We as humans always search for that. Most of us. Not all of us. I really don't. And a lot of the people that I hang with don't, because I hang with people that want challenges and they rise up. But most people aren't like that. I mean, let's just face it. But what's one of the most important things about going on a program to lose weight, to lose body fat, to ultimately get that transformation that you're looking for? It's one of the most important things, if not the most important thing, physically. Resistance training, lifting weights. See the play on words there? Path of least resistance, marketing, these companies, they know that, but yet you need to do resistance training. Now, they're not telling you that because they want to give you that path of least resistance in your mind. Because whatever they tell you, folks, going back to that expert or going back to that person that maybe sells these medications, they know that they are playing with your emotions. And if I got to go to the gym, or if I got to do something that's uncomfortable for me or unfamiliar to me, I'm not going to do it. It's not going to do it. Most people are not going to do it. Oh, wait a minute. I got to go to the gym too. Oh, wait a minute. I got to buy a box of resistance bands or go down to Play It Again Sports and buy some weights. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to do that. They know you're not going to do that for the most part, right from the get-go. So they're not going to bring that up. They're not going to bring up the fact that what you're going to lose is muscle. They're not going to bring back the fact that when you stop the shots, you're going to gain fat back. And this is all out there, folks. Again, I'm the messenger, but I'm compiling all this for you. Now, on the other hand, let's look at marketing, because I said I would cover all aspects of this. Let's look at marketing for a second, for what these medications were originally designed for and created for. Diabetics, severe diabetics specifically. Now, this is the case, and this is the situation where I've seen these medications be a blessing. I'm going to encourage that. I'm going to encourage usage for a severe diabetic because I've seen it in action. I've seen people with A1Cs in the 14 to 15 range. Now that's life-threatening. It's a walking time bomb. And just for your information, if you don't know, so many people think about their blood work and what is A1C? What is a good A1C? 5.7 is kind of the threshold for pre-diabetic diabetic. Anything under 5.7 is going to be pretty good. Pretty good. That's the range that you want to shoot for. Now, some doctors and some labs will take that up into like the 6.3, 6.4 range. So when somebody has an A1C at 14 or 15, that's danger zone. Somebody has sugars that are predominantly or consistently in 6, 7, 800 range when they should be down between like 80 and 120. Yeah, you better get on that medication if you've got access to it. Get to the doctor and get on that medication because that will help you. That'll save your life. Again, I've seen that. So for that situation, I'm going to say 100% based on what your physician, I'm not your physician, so you got to go to your physician and get the final word on that. Based on that, I'm going to say, yeah, you go for it. Marketing or not, emotions or not, I want to frickin' stay alive. Trent, you getting the picture so far?
Absolutely.
So we've got the emotions set. We've got the mechanism set. We've got a couple different sides of this set. Now, let's look at some other things. Lawsuits. Okay. Now, because there are so many things about these medications that in terms of the marketing and how they're presented, that is going into your psyche and your emotions and tapping in on your emotions and your feelings, they're not going to bring some of the negative stuff up. In fact, they're not going to bring most of it up. That's why side effects are really kind of swept underneath the rug. They're kind of put aside. We'll mention them. We'll do this big commercial, during all the sporting events. We'll do this huge commercial, spend a ton of money on it. And then at the very end, we'll turn the microphone down and we'll give you all the side effects. You barely hear them. They don't want you to hear that. They have to, by law, disclose them, but they don't want you to hear that. Same thing when you go to the doctor's office. Let me ask you this. You're not in front of me, so you're going to have to answer this yourself. When you got on your GLP-1, did your doctor give you all of the parameters of all of the side effects? Probably not, unless you asked specifics. They may have given you some of them, but they didn't give you all of them. I'll give you some examples. Right now, just from what I could find in terms of research, 3,000 lawsuits right now for GLP-1s, and most of them are because of the disclosure that these people in these lawsuits did not feel they received when they went on the medication. They now have issues like gastroparesis. They have pancreatitis. Now, these are two very, very, very serious digestive issues. Gastroparesis basically dismantles your digestive system. Basically dismantles it. It becomes non-existent. It doesn't work anymore. And you have to be treated for life on that. That's I don't want to say common, but a predominant side effect. The other thing, which is really disturbing, is vision loss. Impaired vision all the way to full loss of vision. Can't see anymore. These are the lawsuits that are out there. This is not what maybe can happen. This is what's happening. Again, you're rolling the dice with anything like this. So that's something to think about. I'm in the real world. So I've talked to people that have been on these medications and gone off of them because their digestive system just can't handle it. They feel sick. They feel nauseous. They can't function. Let's look at the mechanism in a second. I'm going to just cover these lawsuit things just a little bit more. So one of the figures I saw in the research was there's lawsuits in only over 45 states. So this is happening all over the country. And by the way, that's just in the United States. Keep in mind too, just to backtrack for a second in terms of marketing, these medications are all manufactured or made not in the United States. Not in the United States. So the main companies are not in the US. But yet, where does just about all of the marketing go? Let me think. The United States. Why? Because we're sitting freaking ducks for this stuff. So we want it no matter what. We want that weight loss. We want to be like that Instagram model. We want to be Hollywood. I want to go to my class reunion. Or I want to go to work and I want to get in those clothes. I'll do anything I need to do except what you really need to do, which I'm going to bring this all together at the end. So, lawsuits. Yeah, they're real. Look them up. Now, let's look at, And I want to bring something else up in terms of the marketing before I forget to say this. You see a lot of now. I'm not going to mention any names, but two very, very, very prominent athletes right now that are doing commercials and endorsements for one of the GLP1s. Now, one of them I know has not only this endorsement for the GLP-1, which is weight loss, and this human also has used it and has lost that weight. This person also has long-term deals with McDonald's and Coca-Cola. Now, I'm going to get into some of that more in the next episode because I'm going back into some of the marketing and some of the things that go on in this industry of this country and how it has bamboozled and misled people. And this is why we are where we are now. But think about that for a second. You have got a prominent athlete or a prominent celebrity, a prominent influencer that really does influence people. I'm not talking about a bullshit influencer that's got a ring light in their dining room with their phone. Talking about a real influencer that's really accomplished some amazing things, insurmountable things that they've accomplished that you look up to. Puts their name on a GLP-1, which gives you maybe temporary weight loss. Maybe. It's a crapshoot from based on what you're going to find, what you're finding out in all of this today. Because this is an information podcast. This is information. This is, again, not to sway you in either direction. This is to give you the full perspective. But do you see what is wrong with that? This person who could put their name on anything, could walk into a stadium all over the country, could walk into the stadium, step on a microphone. This person could walk into a stadium or any stadium across the United States, any room across the United States, anywhere, any arena, get on a microphone and influence everybody in that room to do something. What do they choose? GLP-1s, McDonald's, and Coca-Cola. Now that is, to say the least, misuse of a platform. That is abuse of a platform. That is taking something that that an individual has worked their life for with credibility, with truth, and shit on it. Think about it. That's what happens with something like that. I have not seen any celebrity athlete or any celebrity movie star or whatever, or even an Instagram or a real live celebrity that has really done something that really has changed people. Not they got a couple of lucky roles or whatever. They did a couple of movies, whatever. I don't give a shit about that. I'm talking about people, somebody that has really done something special. I haven't seen anybody step up and talk about kids' nutrition, education, the right way to do this kind of thing, health and wellness, self-esteem, education. I haven't seen it. School lunches, which I've done a couple of episodes ago. I've covered this. I covered that very thoroughly if you go back to that episode. Why aren't these school luncheons fixed yet? Because the machine doesn't want it fixed. And in my opinion, the huge celebrity becomes part of the machine. Whether they become coerced into it by the machine or they just think they need the money. If the money is that powerful. And everything has to be so much about freaking money. Profits over truth. Money over healing. Doesn't matter. That's what we see. So I wanted to make sure I covered that. Now, again, this is, I've said this before in other podcasts, but the mechanism of GLP-1, it's not a metabolic drug. You don't take this medication to increase your metabolism. Matter of fact, it decreases it. Because you lose muscle and because muscle dictates metabolism, the mechanism of this particular medication and all of them actually decreases your metabolism. It decreases what I call your engine of life, your body's ability to burn energy efficiently. So if you think about it, why am I taking it? Well, it's instant weight loss. It's instant weight loss. At what cost? Now, I'm going to give you another look on this. When you've been to parties or whatever, you go to events or whatever, you saw somebody at a Clash reunion or whatever you did, and somebody you haven't seen in a while, and it's like, wow, you lost weight, and you see this person. And by the way, the person that I was talking about, this individual, the celebrity, has this look. You see this person, skinny little face, skinny little shoulders, skinny little legs, and a gut, a stomach. Now, what is Metabolism 101 or Health 101? You need to get rid of belly fat, abdominal adiposity, body fat, visceral fat, fat around your organs. You got to get rid of your gut because your gut's dangerous. When you've got that much fat in your midsection, that's the danger zone. That's when you're up for all these risk factors. If I got big legs and a big ass, that's really not that unhealthy. Matter of fact, I'll take that if I'm an athlete because I want that power. But what does this mechanism do? You lose muscle, you gain fat. I see it all the time. Skinny little shoulders, skinny little face, skinny little legs, and a gut. It's not a good look, folks. It's not a good look. I can see it a mile away. And now that you know about it, you can see it too. You want athletic. You want fit. You want confident. You want power. You want self-esteem. You want a great look. You don't want to look like you're shriveled up. And think about what they call Ozempic face. It should be called GLP1 face. But think about Ozempic face and look this up. And you've probably seen this with people. What's one of the most important things to keep us youthful in terms of our look, in terms of our vibrance, and in terms of our energy? The musculature in our face. Your face is full of muscles. Your head's full of muscle. But what if I lose muscle in my face, which you do? What do you see? Droopy, tired, old, defeated. Do you want that? Man, you better start pumping those weights if you're going to do this. Now, I've covered a lot, and I could cover so much more. But I want to get this, again, I want to get back to some of the basics that I've talked about before in other parts of the show, things that need to happen that aren't happening. GLP-1, the marketing and everything and the mechanism, it's happening. It's full on go. But what we don't have, once again, is we don't have nutritional education for kids. None. And folks, that's wrong. Help me please to get this. You billionaires out there, you millionaires out there, you want to make something, you want to make a choice with your money that is really going to move the needle, that is really going to help our country, that is really going to make a change, and you can leave a legacy behind that you made that happen because of funds that you donated. Instead of donating it to bullshit, donate it to nutritional education funds. Donate it to school lunches. Give it to the programs that I am working with. And I will promise you, not only will that be one of the best investments that you've ever made, but you will help to change the world. Because if we change the world in this way, if we get rid of the poison and we start teaching kids how to really take care of themselves and not eat this poison, we can change the world. People that are on GLP-1s that aren't getting the results that they think they should, well, their hunger wasn't suppressed enough to keep them off the crap. So they're not losing the weight. Somebody's out there that's on a GLP-1. Oh, it wasn't for me because it didn't work. Well, turn off get rid of the trough. Stop eating all this crap. Here's the mechanism of a GLP-1. And I want you to think about this. Again, these are facts. It slows digestion. It impairs digestion. You take food in, it slows it down. It impairs it. It slows the emptying of the stomach into the intestine and thus slows your digestion down. Again, it's not a metabolic drug. It's a digestive system retardant. I'm going to repeat that. You need to know this. This is not a metabolic drug. Matter of fact, if you've heard me, what I've already talked about, it's actually a metabolic decreasing drug. It actually takes your metabolism down. And if you're not going to get in the gym, it's going to take your metabolism down to the cellar, the lowest it can go. You need to know that. It's not a metabolic drug. It is a digestive system retardant. So what happens? You hear people talk about this all the time. Ask somebody that uses it. I just don't eat as much. I'm not as hungry. Well, why do you need that drug to make you eat less? I can't stop the food noise, Rob. The food noise. It's what it does. It really, it just turns off the food noise. What the F is food noise? Food noise is that you are addicted, which I've also covered on this show. You're addicted. Food noise in your head is junk food, sugar, processed food, poison addiction. That's what that is. What do you do with an addict when they go to a rehab center? What's one of the first things they do? They stick you in a room so you can't get the drugs. You can't get the alcohol, and you detox. Put yourself in a room, a safe room, get all the shit out of your kitchen and out of your house, and detox. That's how you turn off the food noise, without a shot and without any other help. I make that clear, Trent?
Yep.
Food noise is food noise in your head because you're addicted. And if you're addicted, you need to get off these junk foods. And I heard, I've heard another expert say, this was on a very popular podcast the other day. This doctor, again, I talked about the beginning, how the sharp, eloquent presentation. It was like, we in the medical industry, we've gotten it all wrong. We've not given you the right information. We've misled you. Well, hell yes, you've misled us. Doctors don't have any nutritional education. I'm talking about getting kids educated in nutrition. The basic medical curriculum in this country has zero nutritional education or nutritional education courses. It might be an elective or it might be an afterthought. And again, I'm not here to bash the medical industry because everybody knows that watches my shows and knows me, knows that I put the medical industry on a huge pedestal because you all saved my life. I wouldn't be sitting here without the intervention of the medical industry and pharma. So I'm not here to bash anybody. What I am bashing is when you take your credentials and when you take your power and you spew out that bullshit. Well, good does that say that we've misled you? Of course you've misled, because you don't go into most doctors' offices to get a nice nutrition plan. Again, you don't get it there either. You get a little piece of paper, or they call CVS or Walgreens, and you drive down to the drive-thru and pick up your medications. They want to manage your stuff with all of the things that they have available to them. There's not necessarily a cure. They'll call it a cure, but they want to manage. In my particular situation, I got cured. So it doesn't happen all over the medical industry, but that's the predominant thing. And what does it all go back to make you the best possible, most healthy person that you can be? Look awesome, feel awesome, and be awesome about you. The RR, big four of life. Optimum exercise, optimum nutrition, proper rest, and stress management. That's what they're not going to tell you. They want to get you on the shot. So I want to wrap this up. A lot to think about and a lot to talk about. And again, I want to emphasize, I'm not bashing anybody that's taking these drugs. I'm not bashing anybody that is prescribing them, and I'm not bashing the medication itself. It can be a really good thing. What I would recommend, however, is that you use it if you're going to use it as the skinny shot. That's what you're going to use it. If you're just like, Rob, I hear what you're saying, but I want to lose weight at all costs. Use it as a kickstart. Use it as a kickstart because I have seen that work. To get somebody on the right path where they do eat less. Because most people in America, they not only eat too much, they eat the wrong shitty foods. And it does curtail that. So I'm not bashing this medication. And I'm certainly not advocating that you do it unless you are a severe diabetic once again, and this is going to be a way that you can get out of that. That's what it was meant for. That's where you will need it. You better beeline to your doctor for one of these medications if you've got an A1C in the 14, 15 range. They're probably already got you on it, I'm sure. I hope. But get checked. This is another thing. This is another lesson and another takeaway. Get to your doctor for a physical because you could look as healthy and look as vibrant as unbelievable. But you've got to know what's going on underneath the hood. You have got to check and see what's going on underneath the hood. I can see a race car driving down the street, looks amazing. But what's underneath the hood? When is it going to blow? Same thing for you. You got to see what's going on underneath the hood. Blood work. All of your labs. Get checked physically. Get checked mentally. Get in there to your doc and see what's going on so you can then get the data to make the right decision. You've got all this data now on whether or not the GLP-1 is the right road for you. I hope I covered everything. You know, I come to you folks from, again, a situation as a kid where I was heavy. And we're talking about in the 70s. There were no GLP-1s then, but there was the diet industry. And I knew innately, even as a 13, 14-year-old young man, that the diet industry was bullshit. I needed to change what I was doing. I wasn't plummeted with marketing back then. I could make my own critical decision based on common sense. I didn't want to be fat. I didn't want to be slow. I didn't want to be unattractive. And I certainly didn't want to die early or be unhealthy. I wanted to be vibrant. So I took the reins and I made my own way. And here I am today. Now, I struggled for about 10 years, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But I finally hit a groove and I haven't turned back. And that's a big reason why I do what I do today. And I'm here to help you. I want to help you. I do this so you have information that so you can make these critical decisions. Now, if you look for this show, if you look at the show notes, you'll see the Revive and Sustain Wellness app website. Go to that, www.reviveandsustain.com. Get the app. Everything you need to be the healthiest, most awesome version of you, body, mind, and spirit from the inside out, the big four, everything you need, folks, is on that app. Plate structure, exercise, mindset, mechanisms, tools, skills, knowledge, support, everything is on there. And the other thing is on Amazon, again in the show notes, go get this book, Anti-Diet. Everything is in there. Get the Kindle version or get the book copy. Get the book version. Everything's in here, folks. Anti-Diet. The paradigm is shifted. And the paradigm keeps shifting, folks. You got to keep up with it. Don't get bamboozled by what I was talking about at the beginning. The sharp, eloquent presentations that sway you in one direction or the other. Do your research. Listen to what I say. Listen to all of it. Listen to both directions, all directions. Talk to people. Talk to people that have been on this stuff for a while. Talk to people that have really gotten their health and their weight together by doing it the right way, the natural way, before all this bullshit was presented to you. Do everything you can do. And the last thing I'll leave you with, again, New Year's resolutions. Screw those. These are life resolutions. I'm giving you information to use for life. That's what this is all about. I'm not here to give you a temporary plan. New Year's resolutions reek of temporary. They reek of temporary. I hate temporary. I want life resolutions for you. I want you to have the power, the skills, the tools, and to be able to take all this and make your life the best that it can be and share it with everybody. Community, family, get your support. We don't want to do this alone. We want to do this with the people we love so we can enjoy our life. And that's what this is all about. Think about this too. One more thing. Whether you go and you take care of yourself and do the work, because you have to do the work. Remember, part 1 is taking the medication. Part 2 is doing the work. You cannot avoid the work. You have to do the work. Do you want to feel great or do you want to feel like crap? Because whether you decide to do the work or not, it's hard either way. If I decide to do the work, sometimes that gets hard. Sometimes that gets intimidating. I'm going to talk about that on the next show. But sometimes it is really hard. I get it. It's not in your comfort zone. But what do you want to choose in terms of your hard? Do you want it to be hard and feel great and feel awesome and feel invigorated and feel important and have the self-esteem that you deserve from the inside out? Or do you want it to be hard and feel like shit and roll the dice and listen to that time bomb tick until something, God forbid, blows? Choose your hard. It's hard anyway. But what's really, really rewarding and really easy is self-satisfaction to know that you have control of this. It's up to you. Critical decisions. This is a big one for you. That's the message, everybody. Thank you, Trent, here at Spread the Positive Studios. Thanks to Terry and everybody at Nashville Fit Media Network. And thank you all once again for tuning in. I love every single one of you for tuning in. I really appreciate the support because I'm here for you. That's the message. God bless. Hey, everybody. Thanks again for tuning in to the RR Live Wellness Unfiltered podcast. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the show. And don't forget the Revive and Sustain Wellness app. Go to www.reviveandsustain.com and download the app. 42 years of my experience at your fingertips. Till next time, everybody, in great health.